What happens when a Hollywood A-lister walks onto a daytime talk show expecting a friendly conversation and ends up face to face with a political debate she didn't plan for? Make sure to subscribe to the Star Talks and like and comment for more talk show coverage. The cameras are already rolling. The audience is clapping, the music fades, and Emily Blunt walks out with that composed smile everyone recognizes. She hugs the hosts, waves at the crowd, smooth, calm, professional. The energy in the room is light at first. It's supposed to be about her new film, her career, motherhood, the usual. Whoopi leans forward. Emily Blunt is here. We love having you. Emily laughs warmly. I love being here. It's always a little wild, but in the best way. The audience chuckles. Joy jumps in immediately. You look rested. That's suspicious. Emily laughs harder. I am not. I just have very good makeup. Alyssa Farah Griffin smiles politely, but watches closely. She's waiting. Sunny adjusts her notes. You can feel that subtle shift. The panel knows the conversation could move somewhere heavier. Whoopi starts soft. So this new project of yours, strong female lead, high stakes, a lot of independence in the character. Emily nods. Yes. She's someone who refuses to be told who she is. That's what drew me to it. Alyssa tilts her head slightly. That word, independence, it's interesting right now. A lot of people feel like that word is being redefined politically. There's a slight pause. The audience murmurs softly. It's subtle, but it's there. Emily keeps her tone calm. I think independence is personal before it's political. It's about having agency over your own life. Sunny nods. That's right. Alyssa leans in just a bit. But for some people watching, that conversation feels very political right now. Emily smiles, but it's a tighter smile. Well, I think everything becomes political when people start legislating personal decisions. There's a louder reaction from the audience, a mix of claps and murmurs. Whoopi quickly interjects. Okay, we're not diving into Congress yet. Joy laughs. Not before coffee. But Alyssa doesn't back off. I'm not trying to make it combative, she says, measured. But when celebrities speak about policy, some viewers feel lectured. Emily turns to her fully now. I'm not a politician. I don't lecture. I speak as a person. If something affects women, and I'm a woman, I'm allowed to care. Applause breaks out. Alyssa nods slowly. Of course. But do you understand why some Americans feel Hollywood voices drown out theirs? Emily pauses. That's the first real pause. She inhales, choosing words carefully. I don't think caring about people's rights is drowning anyone out. I think it's adding to the conversation. The audience claps again, louder this time. Sunny jumps in. And people can disagree. That's democracy. Alyssa responds quickly. Absolutely. But it has to go both ways. Whoopi raises a hand. Let's breathe for a second. The crowd laughs nervously. Emily looks straight ahead, still composed but more serious now. I actually don't enjoy confrontation. I came to talk about my work. But when these topics come up, I won't pretend I don't have opinions. Joy smirks. You're on the wrong show if you don't enjoy confrontation. Big laughter from the audience. Alyssa softens her tone slightly. I respect that you're honest. I just think it's fair to ask whether entertainers sometimes underestimate how divided the country feels. Emily nods. I don't underestimate it. I feel it. I have family members who disagree with me. It's not theoretical. The room quiets a bit. She continues, more personal now. But when it comes to autonomy, bodily autonomy, I don't see that as partisan. There's a sharp wave of applause, louder than before. Alyssa's expression tightens just slightly. But that's where millions of Americans would disagree with you. Emily doesn't look away. They're allowed to. That line lands. The audience reacts again, some cheers, some murmurs. Whoopi senses the temperature rising. Okay. We're going to keep this respectful. Sunny jumps in. We are being respectful. Alyssa responds calmly, but firmly. Respect also means acknowledging that deeply held beliefs aren't automatically oppressive. Emily turns toward her again. And respect means acknowledging that deeply held beliefs don't get to dictate someone else's life. The audience goes, oh. Joy fans herself jokingly. Oh, we're cooking now. Whoopi sighs playfully. It's 11 a.m., people. Emily stays composed, but you can see the seriousness settling in. This is no longer promotional banter. The shift is undeniable. Alyssa's voice stays steady. No one is trying to dictate your life, Emily. Emily responds quickly this time. Legislation does. There's a ripple through the audience. Sunny nods strongly. That's the point. Alyssa raises her hand slightly. But those laws come from elected representatives. Emily answers without hesitation. That doesn't make them morally correct. The tension thickens. Even Whoopi leans back in her chair now, watching. For a split second, there's silence. Then scattered applause. Alyssa exhales, controlled. So are you saying half the country is immoral? Emily shakes her head immediately. No, I'm saying systems can be. The audience claps again, more balanced this time. Joy interjects. Okay, that's a fair distinction. Alyssa presses gently. But when public figures speak in absolutes, people hear judgment. Emily leans forward slightly. It's not judgment to advocate for choice. It's advocacy. Sunny claps once softly on the table. There it is. Whoopi finally steps in more firmly. All right, we're going to pause before Twitter explodes in real time. The audience laughs, tension slightly eased. But the air is different now. The smiles are thinner. The energy has shifted from friendly interview to genuine debate. Emily adjusts in her seat. I truly didn't come here to fight. Alyssa nods. And I didn't come to attack you. There's a quiet, almost human moment there. Then Joy says, well, that's disappointing television. Big laughter breaks the heaviness. But underneath the humor, something has changed. The conversation has opened a door that's not closing easily. Whoopi glances at the camera. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more with Emily Blunt, and maybe we'll talk about the actual movie. The audience applauds, but the clapping feels layered, part excitement, part tension. As the music swells and cameras pull back, you can see Emily and Alyssa exchanging a few quiet words off mic, their expressions still serious. And just like that, what was supposed to be a standard promotional stop has turned into something much bigger. And we're only getting started. The show comes back from commercial, and you can feel it immediately. The energy isn't playful anymore. It's careful. The audience applause is loud, but it carries that curious edge, like everyone knows something real just happened. Whoopi smiles at the camera. We are back with Emily Blunt. Applause again. Emily gives a small wave, but she's more focused now. Alyssa sits upright, composed, hands folded. Sunny looks ready. Joy looks entertained. It's live TV and everyone knows it. Whoopi clears her throat. So before the break, we dipped our toes into something slightly heavier than your film. Joy interrupts. Slightly. Laughter from the audience. Whoopi smirks. Okay, we cannonballed into it. Emily smiles faintly. I didn't mean to derail the show. Alyssa responds immediately, calm but direct. It's not a derailment. These conversations matter. And if we're going to talk about independence, we should be clear about what that means to different people. Sunny leans in. But why is it always framed as celebrities overstepping? People in every profession have opinions. Alyssa turns to Sunny. Because they have massive platforms. That's the difference. Emily nods slowly. And platforms can be used responsibly. Alyssa doesn't hesitate. Or irresponsibly. There's that murmur again from the audience. Emily looks at her directly. Do you think I'm being irresponsible? The room goes quiet. Alyssa takes a measured breath. I think when public figures reduce complicated moral issues to simple rights language, it can dismiss deeply held beliefs. Emily's tone stays steady but firmer. Human rights aren't simple. They're fundamental. Applause breaks out, louder this time. Whoopi raises her hand slightly. Let her finish. Emily continues. I'm not dismissing anyone's faith or personal views. I'm saying that laws impact real people's lives in ways that aren't theoretical. Alyssa nods. And for many Americans, those laws protect what they believe is life. Sunny jumps in. And for many women, those laws remove their autonomy. Joy shakes her head slightly. And here we are again. The audience reacts, some clapping, some tense laughter. Emily leans back slightly, then forward again. Can I say something personal? Whoopi nods. Please. Emily's voice softens just a touch. I've had complicated pregnancies. I know women who have faced devastating medical decisions. These aren't abstract debates. They're terrifying moments in people's lives. The audience grows very quiet. Alyssa listens carefully. And I don't minimize that. Truly. But there are also people who believe the unborn have rights too. Emily doesn't flinch. And that's their belief. But when belief becomes law that overrides someone else's body, that's where I draw the line. There's a strong wave of applause. Sunny nods emphatically. Exactly. Alyssa keeps her composure. But you're framing it as control. Many don't see it that way. Emily responds gently but firmly. If a government tells you what medical decision you can or cannot make, what would you call it? That lands hard. The audience reacts with a mix of and clapping. Whoopi interjects. Okay, let's not all talk at once. Joy leans toward Alyssa. You worked in government. You know how these laws are shaped. Alyssa nods. I do. And I also know there are women on both sides of this issue. Emily answers quickly. Yes, and those women deserve to make choices too. Alyssa responds, and some choose restrictions. Sunny shakes her head. You can't choose restrictions for everyone. The audience claps again. There's a visible tension now. It's not loud. It's controlled. But it's real. Emily looks at Alyssa again, not angry, just resolute. I'm not trying to silence anyone. I'm saying the baseline should be personal agency. Alyssa counters, but society sets baselines all the time. Emily, not about forced medical decisions. Alyssa, that's your framing. Emily, that's the reality for some women. The audience reacts again, louder now. Whoopi leans forward. Let's slow this down. There's a beat of silence. Emily inhales. I understand that people disagree with me. What I struggle with is the idea that speaking about women's health is somehow Hollywood lecturing. Alyssa's tone softens slightly. It's not that you can't speak. It's that sometimes it feels one-sided in entertainment spaces. Emily nods thoughtfully. But I'm here answering questions I was asked. Joy laughs. Nobody forced us into this. We live here. Audience laughter breaks some tension. Sunny adds, this show was built on disagreement. Alyssa nods. And I welcome it. But I think it's important that viewers who disagree don't feel villainized. Emily turns toward the audience for a moment. No one watching this who disagrees with me is my enemy. But I won't pretend neutrality when it comes to autonomy. Applause again, strong and sustained. Alyssa looks at her carefully. Do you think there's any room for compromise? Emily pauses. That question lingers. In policy? Emily says slowly. Maybe. In compassion? Always. The audience murmurs approvingly. Alyssa nods. That's fair. But then she adds, compassion has to extend to all parties involved. Sunny responds quickly. Including the woman. Alyssa, yes. Including. The pace is quick now. Interruptions overlapping slightly. Whoopi raises her voice gently. All right. We're not going to solve America before lunch. Laughter breaks out again. But you can feel something deeper now. The conversation has shifted from sharp debate to something more layered. Still tense, but less combative and more revealing. Emily speaks again, quieter. I don't wake up wanting to argue on television. I want women to feel safe. That's it. The audience applauds softly. Alyssa responds in a measured way. And I want people of faith and conscience to feel heard too. There's a pause. Not hostile. Just real. Joy looks between them. Well, now we've got the country in a nutshell. More laughter. Whoopi smiles slightly. See? Civil, passionate. Nobody flipped a table. The audience cheers. But the camera catches something subtle. Emily's jaw set just slightly tighter than before. Alyssa's posture firm, unyielding. This isn't over. It's just evolving. Whoopi turns to Emily. Let's pivot slightly. Your character in this film faces impossible decisions. Did any of this cultural climate, influence how you approached her? Emily nods slowly. Yes, it did. Because when you're portraying strength, it can't just be physical. It has to be moral, emotional, standing firm when it's uncomfortable. Alyssa watches her carefully. Even when people disagree, Emily meets her eyes. Especially then. The audience reacts again, a mix of applause and tension-filled murmurs. And just like that, the debate hasn't ended. It's deepened. The applause from that last line lingers a little longer than usual. It's not explosive, it's steady, thoughtful. You can tell the audience is split, but engaged. Nobody's tuning out. If anything, they're leaning in. Whoopi glances down at her cards, then back up. Okay, so we've established this is not just a cute movie promo anymore. Joy jumps in. No, this is now C-SPAN with better lighting. The audience laughs, tension easing for a second. Emily smiles, but it's measured. I promise the movie does have action. Alyssa nods politely. And I do want to talk about it. But I think what's interesting is how art intersects with politics, whether we want it to or not. Sunny raises a brow. It always has. Alyssa continues, calm but firm. Sure, but sometimes it feels like there's only one acceptable viewpoint in entertainment spaces. Emily shifts slightly in her chair. Acceptable to who? Alyssa doesn't hesitate. To the industry, to the media, to rooms like this. The audience reacts with a low murmur. That one landed differently. Sunny leans forward. Are you saying this show only allows one viewpoint? Alyssa keeps her voice steady. No, I'm saying culturally, certain opinions are safer than others in Hollywood. Emily tilts her head. I've never felt safe talking about controversial issues. Joy laughs lightly. You're British. You're already suspicious here. Laughter breaks out again. Emily shakes her head slightly. I'm serious. There's backlash no matter what you say. Alyssa nods. That's true. Social media punishes everyone. Whoopi chimes in. Oh, social media punishes people for breathing. Audience laughter. But Alyssa isn't done. What I'm getting at is this. When influential figures speak strongly on one side, it can create a chilling effect for those who disagree. Emily looks directly at her. So the solution is what? Silence. Alyssa responds, no. Openness to nuance. Sunny cuts in. Nuance is often code for delay. The audience gives a mixed reaction. Some claps, some murmurs. Alyssa turns to Sunny. Or it's code for acknowledging complexity. Emily raises a hand slightly. I agree with nuance. But nuance can't become paralysis. That draws applause. She continues, more animated now. If we wait for perfect consensus, nothing changes. Historically, progress has always been uncomfortable. Alyssa nods once. And sometimes what's called progress feels like loss to others. There's a brief silence. That line sits heavy. Joy leans back. That's actually true. Sunny exhales. But someone's loss can't be someone else's rights. Alyssa responds, controlled. And someone's rights can't dismiss someone else's moral convictions. The temperature rises again, not shouting but sharper. Emily speaks carefully. Moral conviction is personal. Law is collective. Alyssa replies, law is shaped by collective moral conviction. Whoopi raises both hands. Okay, law school is in session. The audience laughs nervously. Emily's tone shifts, less combative, more reflective. Can I ask you something honestly? Alyssa nods. Of course. Emily continues. Do you believe women should have fewer choices than men when it comes to their bodies? The audience goes quiet again. Alyssa answers carefully. No, I believe there are two lives involved in certain situations. There's a ripple through the audience, a mix of applause and uneasy murmuring. Emily doesn't interrupt. She listens. Alyssa continues. And I think reducing that to control oversimplifies what millions of Americans believe. Sunny shakes her head slightly, but stays quiet this time. Emily responds slowly. I don't think it's reduction. I think it's prioritization. Alyssa, of one over the other. Emily, of the person who is already here, living, breathing. The audience reacts again, louder now. Whoopi interjects quickly. All right, let's keep this from becoming cable news. Joy leans toward Whoopi. Too late. Laughter. But you can see it. Both Emily and Alyssa are fully engaged now. This isn't surface-level disagreement. It's philosophical. Alyssa speaks again, softer. Do you worry that framing it this way alienates half the country? Emily pauses. That's the longest pause of the segment. I worry more about alienating women who feel scared, she says finally. That line draws strong applause. Alyssa nods slowly. And I worry about alienating people who feel their beliefs are dismissed as ignorance. There's a surprising moment of quiet agreement in the room. Sunny speaks gently now. Maybe both fears are real. Joy nods. That's the problem. Everybody feels threatened. Whoopi looks at Emily. Has this kind of reaction ever made you reconsider speaking out? Emily shakes her head. No, but it's made me more careful. Alyssa tilts her head. Careful how? Emily answers. Careful to separate anger from advocacy. Careful to remember that disagreement isn't hatred. That earns genuine applause from across the audience. Alyssa's expression softens slightly. I appreciate that. Emily nods. And I appreciate that you're not shouting at me. The audience laughs. Alyssa smiles faintly. I try not to. Joy jumps in. It's more fun if you do. More laughter. But the tone now feels different. Still tense, but more human. Less sharp edges. Sunny turns to Alyssa. Do you think conversations like this help? Alyssa considers it. If they're honest, yes. If they're performative, no. Emily nods. Agreed. Whoopi leans forward. Well, this doesn't feel performative. The audience applauds lightly. Emily adds, it feels uncomfortable, which probably means it's real. Alyssa gives a small nod. I can agree with that. For the first time, there's a hint of mutual recognition. Not agreement, but acknowledgement. Joy claps her hands once. Look at that. Civil disagreement. Somebody alert the internet. The audience laughs loudly. But even in the laughter, the intensity hasn't fully dissipated. It's just transformed. It's no longer sharp. It's reflective. The kind of tension that lingers after the words stop. Whoopi glances at the clock. We've got a couple minutes left. Sunny looks at Emily. Would you say this conversation reflects the themes of your film? Emily exhales softly. Yes, because the film is about standing in your truth, even when you're surrounded by opposition. Alyssa adds quietly, and listening when you're surrounded by opposition. Emily looks at her, then nods. Yes, that too. There's a small but sincere round of applause. And for a brief moment, it feels less like a clash, and more like a real exchange that nobody expected to get this deep on a morning talk show. But the question hanging in the air is clear. Did this calm hold, or was the real fallout still coming? The final segment wraps, the audience applauds, and the camera pulls back for what looks like a clean, professional ending. Whoopi smiles into the lens. Emily Blunt, everybody. The film is in theaters this Friday. Applause fills the studio again, loud, energized, but layered. Some people are cheering the movie. Some are cheering the debate. Some are just reacting to the tension they witnessed. Emily stands, hugs Whoopi, then Joy, then Sunny. When she reaches Alyssa, there's a split second where the room holds its breath. They do hug, brief, polite, not icy, not warm. Controlled. Alyssa says something quietly off mic. Emily nods once. The show signs off. The music swells. Cameras fade. But that's where television ends. The real story starts right after. As the audience files out, you can hear pockets of conversation everywhere. She handled that so well. No, Alyssa made valid points. It got intense. That's what this show is supposed to be. Producers are moving quickly. You can see staff whispering near the stage. Not panicked, but alert. They know when a segment lands bigger than expected. Backstage, according to sources in the studio, the tone wasn't explosive. There was no shouting, no dramatic storm-off. But it wasn't casual either. Emily reportedly thanked the hosts for keeping it real. Alyssa was seen speaking with producers for several minutes. Not defensive, but firm. She stood by her questions. Sunny and Joy were animated backstage, replaying moments from the debate. Whoopi, as usual, stayed measured. She's seen decades of television conflict. This wasn't the worst, but it was one of the most honest. And then the internet did what it always does. Within minutes of the segment airing, clips started circulating. Emily Blunt shuts down Alyssa Farah Griffin. Alyssa calls out Hollywood hypocrisy. Awkward moment on live TV. Hashtags began trending. Some viewers praised Emily for standing firm on autonomy and refusing to soften her stance. Others applauded Alyssa for pushing back and representing viewers who feel unheard in entertainment spaces. One viral post read, "Finally, a real debate without screaming." Another said, "Why invite guests if you're going to corner them politically?" And that's where it gets interesting. Media analysts started weighing in by the afternoon. Some said the exchange reflected the current state of American discourse, sharp, divided, but not beyond repair. Others argued it showed exactly why daytime television remains culturally relevant. It's unpredictable. It's unscripted. It's human. By evening, both women were trending separately. Emily didn't immediately post anything about the debate. Her social media remained focused on the film's release. Photos from the premiere. Behind-the-scenes clips. Professional. Controlled. Alyssa, however, posted later that afternoon. She wrote, "Civil disagreement is not an attack. It's conversation. Grateful for platforms where we can talk honestly." That post alone generated thousands of replies, supportive and critical. Some praised her composure. Others accused her of instigating unnecessary tension. The show itself released a clipped highlight of the most balanced exchange. The moment when Emily said, "In compassion? Always." And Alyssa responded, "Compassion has to extend to all parties involved." That clip performed better than the sharper sound bites. And that says something. Behind closed doors, insiders say there was no demand for apologies. No requests for edits. Both sides stood by what they said. The next morning, several news outlets referenced the exchange as an example of live television done right. Not because anyone won, but because nobody melted down. Still, The divide in audience reaction was clear. Some longtime viewers felt proud of the show for allowing tension to breathe without shutting it down. Others felt fatigued, tired of politics bleeding into entertainment. And that's the paradox. Emily came to promote a film about strength. Instead, she ended up embodying it in real time. Alyssa came prepared to ask questions from a perspective she believes isn't often represented in Hollywood spaces. And she didn't back down. Neither woman raised her voice. Neither insulted the other. Neither apologized for their stance. But neither conceded either. And that's what made it powerful. In interviews later that week, Emily was asked about the moment during a red carpet appearance. Her answer was brief. "I think conversations are better than silence." She didn't elaborate. Alyssa, during a separate media appearance, said, "Disagreement doesn't equal disrespect. We can challenge each other and still shake hands." That handshake, that brief on-air hug, became symbolic online. Screen grabbed, zoomed in, debated. Was it tense? Was it fake? Was it professional? People analyzed body language, tone, micro-expressions. Because when public figures clash in real time, audiences don't just watch, they dissect. But here's what didn't happen. No one stormed off. No segment was cut short. No statement of regret was issued. Instead, what aired stayed aired. And maybe that's why it resonated. Daytime television isn't meant to be comfortable all the time. It's meant to reflect the conversations happening at kitchen tables, in group chats, in living rooms across the country. This one just happened under studio lights. In the days that followed, ratings reportedly saw a noticeable bump for that episode's clips online. Engagement spiked. Debate threads kept going. Some viewers said they respected Emily more. Others said they appreciated Alyssa more. Some said they respected both. And some said they were just exhausted. But no one said it was boring. And in television, that matters. So what did we really witness? Not a meltdown. Not a takedown. Not a viral screaming match. We saw two women with fundamentally different views refuse to shrink and refuse to explode. It was tense. It was layered. It was uncomfortable. And it was real. Now we want to hear from you. Did Emily go too far? Did Alyssa push too hard? Was it balanced? Was it necessary? Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the Star Talks for more real talk show stories.